Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at throws in Virtua Fighter, how to make them and how to break them. First, let's talk about what role they actually play in a match. So in Tekken, the fundamental mix-up is between mids and lows. But in Virtua Fighter, much like in Street Fighter, the fundamental mix-up is actually between strikes and throws. In order to defend against the mid, you typically need to either stand block or sidestep, both of which leave you open to throws because throws beat both the standing guard and they track in both directions. So coming from Tekken, it might be worth thinking of throws as sort of your lows. They're what you do to open up someone who is stubbornly just standing there and blocking. Fun fact though, lows in Virtua Fighter are actually typically minus on hit and surprisingly punishable on block. Like check this out. So that's -6 for me, even though I hit him. -6. The dick jab doesn't count. -3. So yeah, lows are typically minus even on hit. So that's even more reason to think about throws as your go-to guard breaker. However, as I've mentioned and will continue to mention in all of these videos, no option you can do in Virtua Fighter is safe. Everything has a weakness, and that includes throws. Throws in VF are beaten by strikes. So if your opponent is in the startup of a strike, your throw will fail to connect, and they will blow straight through it. So again, your throw is essentially a bet that your opponent is just going to stand there and block. If you're right, you can potentially score some major damage.
Burning hammer! Oh!
But if you're wrong, then you can get basically booted in the face. So, you know, be smart. It is what it is. All throws are typically assigned in one of three directions. They're either a forward throw, as performed by pressing forward P+G, like this. Back throw, performed by pressing back P+G, like this. Or a neutral throw, performed by pressing P+G on its own. In essence, throws are mix-ups in and of themselves, because even if your opponent knows a throw is coming, they still have to guess what direction it's in. If you're trying to figure out what direction your throw is in, then the last directional input of the attack will typically tell you. So for example, if the input for a throw is back forward P+G, then it's a forward throw. If the input is half circle back P+G, then it's a back throw. So simple. But how do we break throws? Okay, that's the real question of this video and easily the most important part. So let's get to it. In Virtua Fighter, throws are unreactable. It's not like in Tekken where you can just sort of forget throws exist until you see the hands come out and then react in real time. No, you actually have to always be ready for the throw in Virtua Fighter. In order to break a throw, you need to be pressing P+G and the corresponding direction when the throw makes contact with you. So if the opponent is going for a forward throw, then you need to be pressing P+G and forward. If they're doing a back throw, then you need to press P+G and back. But Chad, are you saying I need to randomly press P+G and the direction at the exact moment that an unreactable throw comes out? Doesn't that seem, you know, fucking impossible? You're right. It is, which is why no one does it like that. What people actually do is a technique called the lazy throw escape. And if you promise to hit the like button and subscribe, then I will show you how to do it. All right, so if you look at my inputs here, you'll see that I'm holding the guard button, right? And watch what happens. So I blocked all the highs and mids, but then got thrown, right? Because I wasn't pressing P+G when the throw came out. But look what happens when I first hold the guard button and then quickly press and hold P right after. I not only blocked all the strikes, but I also broke the throw because when it came out, I was in fact already holding P+G. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the lazy throw escape. The act of holding P while guarding, which essentially renders you immune to throws in that direction while guarding. What that means, folks, is that you should never just be holding the guard button. If you're going to commit to guarding, you might as well also commit to throw breaking in a given direction. So, for example, Jeffrey here infamously has a high damaging throw called Splash Mountain. Oh, Splash Mountain!
Knockout!
Oh, I died! Splash Mountain is a forward throw. So when defending against Jeffrey, it's typically a good idea to be holding P and forward while guarding. You're still at risk of his neutral and back throws, of course, but if you don't LTE, then you're at risk of all his throws. This, for me, has been one of the hardest mental skills to develop in Virtua Fighter. It's sort of a passive skill, something you need to learn to do without thinking. Just instinctively have a throw break banked while you're blocking. You should never just be blocking. And whenever I get thrown, I ask myself, okay, what direction was I throw breaking? And the answer more often than not is none. I was just holding G like an idiot. I can't stress enough how much safer you are doing this than not doing it. Like, imagine if in Tekken, there was a technique that not only let you block mids and highs, but also made you immune to 33% of lows. That's how powerful the LTE is and why it's important to develop this skill as quickly as possible. And this actually goes into a deeper point about defense in Virtua Fighter, right? Much like in all fighting games, typically requires a combination of skill, knowledge, and experience. And usually, the best defensive option will be one that covers more than just one offensive threat. So for example, remember how throws beat sidesteps? Well, actually, if I sidestep but also enter a forward LTE, i.e. a throw break forwards, then this would allow me to not only beat a mid, right, because I'd sidestep it, but also if he goes for the throw, and if it happens to be a forward throw, I'll break it. See, options like this are what separate high-level VF players from scrubs like you and me. When we want to defend, we'll typically pick a single option. We'll just block, or we'll just sidestep, or we'll just backdash. But the more advanced players will deploy more advanced options. Options that will beat not only the threat they think is coming, but also the second and possibly third most likely ones too. But that's going beyond the scope of this video. In this video, we're simply talking about throws. Next, there are side throws, which are done when you're at your opponent's side, hence the name. And technically, these throws are easier to break because they can only ever be performed in one direction. But in reality, they're actually a lot trickier because the direction you have to go in is always relative to your body. So I'll try and show you. So if Jeffrey is on Vanessa's right, then you have to throw break to the right. But if Jeffrey's on the left, then you have to throw break to your left. Last but not least, there are catch throws. These are throws that cannot be broken and will automatically connect on impact. They're typically slower and are often part of a mix-up, forcing you to either hard duck in order to evade the throw or standing block in order to block the mid. Catch throws are also typically the only throws that can connect even if you're in the middle of a strike. All right, that was a lot. So let's summarize. 1. Throws are to VF what lows are to Tekken, so use them to open up blocking opponents. 2. Know that you cannot throw a striking opponent, so only go for a throw when you're somewhat confident your opponent is too scared to throw out a button. Catch throws, however, are exempt from this rule. 3. Breaking a throw requires you to guess one of 3 directions, and to be pressing P plus G and that direction when the throw connects. In reality, though, this is typically done preemptively, by always having P and the direction held down while guarding. This is known as the lazy throw escape, or LTE. 4. Side throws are always broken in one direction, and that direction is determined by where your opponent is in relation to your body. If they're on your left, you break to the left. If they're on your right, you break to the right. All right. Hopefully this video has been helpful, and if you're enjoying the content, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and consider supporting your boy over on Twitch or becoming a YouTube member, all that good shit. Regardless, till next time, peace.